yourself you are till a 3 to 5 years old child and stuck to a room which is barely having any light, and you have to go to the length to clean a chimney. So does it feel like a relief, or do you cry out that I want the days of the joyful childhood? So the same questions are being asked in the Chimney Sweeper. So welcome to Let Knows Pro. So in this video we'll be talking about the Chimney Sweeper written by William Blake. So those who know about William Blake, those who had heard and watched my earlier videos on William Blake, be it on William Blake general intro, be it on Songs of Experience, and as well as on Songs of Innocence, and those who even have watched my videos on the tiger and the lamb, they have general idea which kind of poetry Blake writes about. Okay, so the poetry name which now we are dealing is the Chimney Sweeper. So this is a poem which is available both in the Songs of Innocence as well as in the Songs of Experience. In earlier section what we had seen, lamp which is available in Songs of Innocence is the complementary poem of that tiger in Songs of Experience. Okay, here the Chimney Sweeper available in Songs of Innocence has a complimentary poem in that Songs of Experience section titled same as the Chimney Sweeper. So the title is saying so much. Okay, so before that I just want you to understand the setting. Okay, the setting is the 18th century. Okay, roughly 1790. Okay, because it's published, Songs of Innocence published in 1789. Okay, so the roughly 1788 the setting. So think that that time industrial revolutions were going. Okay, mean everywhere there's like a huge industry, huge buildings are available. So like everyone is running to be an employee, and the need of laborers were available, and due to this huge number of people from villages were going to be part of it, and especially the need came to the children. Okay, and here the need came to directly in Chimney Sweeper due to another reason which we'll talk while describing the poem. Okay, so think that setting that you are seeing, just you look at the outside, you are seeing just buildings. Okay, you are seeing just buildings and you are kept in a room which is totally darkened. Okay, and you have climbed up that portion of the chimney and trying to clean the chimney. Okay, and you imagine yourself 4 or 5 years old child, you barely can breathe through the air, and you barely can have a light. Okay, on the outside a light. Okay, so you are in a darkness. Now we start the poem of our Chimney Sweeper. When my mother died, I was very young. So the poet speaker is a child. Okay, he is one of the children here whose task is to clean the chimney. So he says that I was very young when my mother died. So think of a child whose mother died very early age, and he or she is forced to clean a chimney. So mostly he or she has been sold. Okay, so he says that when my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while it my tongue. Okay, so once his mother died, his father sold him. He was very young when his mother died, and he was again very young when his father sold him. Could scarcely cry, weep, weep, weep. So four times this weep word has been used. So in a sentence, if any word is being repeated, then can be reason of putting a stress on that word. So it shows the helplessness of the child. Okay, his parent, mean his father, had sold him, and another parent was died. So his helplessness, do you think that he without his consent was being sold and he was forced to clean the chimney? So what could he do? Barely blocked and locked in that room, where no sort of outside light was available. He has to do work in the darkened situation. He has to clean the chimney. So he could only think what? Weeping, isn't he? Could only weep. So your chimneys I sweep, in suit I sleep. So he used to clean the chimney, is to sleep in the suit. Okay. So in that respect, I would say that now you think that why these children were in general chosen for the job of sweeping the chimneys. Okay. I think the chimneys used to be small as it is in general. So the space where you have to enter in order to clean the chimneys, these are not mostly likable or something of a space a grown up can enter into. So that's why children used to be appointed for that task. Okay, so most families used to sing in their children, and definitely you can imagine those children were not from a very high profile family. They used to be from a middle class and even lower class background, where their parents used to sold them solely to earn money. So their life is to be stuck in the dark room, and in that situation they have to imagine their childhood. Okay, so there in that letter section you will see that how that picture has been imagined and has been showed, but it's not being imagined. Okay, because Blake was present at that time, so you can think that Blake is to open his windows every day, and he could see that the children's is to go to the darkened room and is to feel that they were cleaning. So it is part of that reality. Okay, that time magazines were having the same news regarding this. Few times children used to fell from the chimneys and they used to die like that way. None took even the responsibility of that death, and there was no justification of it. Okay, the children were like thought to be that this was their destiny. Okay, so in such situation a child has been introduced in the poem whose mother died, whose father sold him, and he had nothing to do but weep and sweep the chimney and do what? To sleep in the suit. So that's the thing. Then what comes? There's a little Tom Dacre who cried when his head, that curled like a lamb's back, was shaved. So I said, so there another child came. Newly he was taken there. His name was Tom Dacre. What did happen? Um, so he cried aloud. Why? Because his head was shaved. Why? You can think that he must have not listened to them, must have refused to do the job, or he had might have been said to do extra job which he had refused, or he was not so obedient to them. For some reason his hair was being shaved. Mm, so that time what the child speaker said to him, hush Tom, never mind it, for when your hair is bare, you know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair. As they have to sleep in suit, so that's why the child narrator is saying, child speaker is saying, don't be crying Tom, you at least can now feel tension free, as you have no hair that won't spoil your hair, isn't? By sleeping in suit, your hair is getting quite kind of a dust in it, and it spoils the hair scalp, and so many other sort of problems do happen due to the unhygienic situation and all. So it is saying that now your hair is no more, so you are no more having the pressure to protect it while sleeping in the suit. So here you can get the scenario, although the poet speaker or the child speaker is trying to give a kind of support to the child and showing positive part of this hair shaving, but we can imagine a kind of a sarcasm here, which is shows that how the situation where they used to sleep so worse that losing hair is better than having in such situation. Okay, and here you can see the child abuse available, how children were abused, which is very bad thing in society. That time too child protect acts were available, so many things were available, still such thing present. So you can imagine the abusement which children have to go through when they are doing work like this, which is not most likely to be done by them, because this is not their is to do be laboring, which you will find in the other chimney sweeper poem present in Songs of Experience. Okay, here the speaker is very innocent, so you'll not get a harsh kind of criticism here, which you will get in the Songs of Experience section. Here what you got is in a very different way, in a very innocent way. Child speaker is still trying to find a goodness within it, a positive part within it. But when we will move to the Songs of Experience, the child speaker is no more so much gullible, so much naive. His mind has changed. Okay, he no more finds it to be something doing better for his sake. Okay, so the third sentence is, so he was quiet, and that very night as Tom was sleeping he had such a sight. So after listening to the child speaker, Tom became silent. Okay, Tom understood, no, there's something goodness within it. We often, okay, if something bad happens to us, our first instinct says that let me be find something good part of it. Once we find it, we start feeling little relief. Okay, that's a kind of a psychological thing. Okay, that when something bad happens to us, we feel a kind of a risk, a kind of a pain within ourselves. That time our mind desperately looks for something to get relief, and that's what we do, that we try to find something positive inside of that negative. Once we find it, we get relief. So once the child speaker said to the Tom that there's something goodness within it, at least you do not require to feel that your hair would be damaged while sleeping in the suit. So what happens now, the Tom is no more so much disheartened, which you felt actually initially after losing his hair. He's no more such disheartened, such heartbroken. So he slept, and while sleeping he found a sight, mean like he saw a dream. What was that? The thousands of sweeper, dig, jog, knit, jack. These are the names of the sweepers. Thousands of sweepers were sweeping, were all of them locked up in a coffins of black. I already told you that they used to be locked up in a coffins of black, means a darkened room. There's no kind of outside daylight was available. They used to be locked up and they used to sweep. Okay, so and by came an angel who had a bright key. Bright key means that the angel came with a ray of hope. Okay, that light is not the outside light, although along with that angels coming, outside light too came, but that light is a ray of hope, that these children got back their hope, that there is still hope to find something better in their life, because they are kept in a child labor lifelong process, and the job is so hard for them to climb up and clean the chimney. They can't breathe. Okay, you all know the chimney situation, how dangerous if one has to inhale it all the day, isn't? So that one, so thousands were there, they were locked up. So what happened? An angel came with a bright key. He opened the coffin, set them all free. He opened the coffin and all the children were free along with Tom. So then down a green plain, leaping, laughing therein. So then what happened in a green plain, green ground or something like meadows or can be valley, something like that. They went and they were free, they were running, laughing, what's supposed to be done by a children. As we have seen, lamp is doing what is lamp is jumping, laughing, full of life in a valleys. So the same that children after being freed, they went there, they were leaping, they were playing, they were laughing, they were running, and wash in a hair, shine in the sun. They had seen now the sun rays which they were not seeing, were kept in a darkened room. Okay, so they are now and shine in the sun and wash in a river. So then they naked and wet, all their bags left behind, they rise upon clouds and spot in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he'd be a good boy, he'd have God for his father, never one joy. Then naked and wet, all their legs left behind, they rise upon clouds and sport in the wind. They were now freed of everything. Cloud you can take as a burden of job doing. A responsibility which is barely not to be like supposed to be done by children, but that's given to them. Another burden of life, burden of living in a situation. They were now freeing, they were feeling like a yard now, no more of a cloud where they used to be stuck, isn't. So they were now freed, they had left their bags of responsibility, they are feeling quite free. Okay, and the angel told them what if he'd be a good boy, he'd have a God for his father, never one joy. So positive factor here you can get that the angel is saying if you will be a good person, if you do good thing, then you will get a good reward. If you do bad thing, then you will get a like of a punishment. Okay, although is something definitely good to advise, but here too comes criticism, because it indirectly says that you should obey your responsibility of cleaning the chimney. But here if you see, then do you not question the whole responsibility? Is it something correct to put the responsibility on the children's head? So, and even if it's put, then why they are facing abuses, why child abuses are happening there? So so many comes, and when the job is not appropriate, when the treatment of theirs is not appropriate, how can they obey, isn't? If something mishappen with you, if someone is torturing you, if someone is forcing you to do like full-time duty and even extra duty, and even making you feel like so helpless, is it still okay to like acknowledge them, still okay to be obedient? There's still same thing still work to think that good works will bring good reward? Definitely not, because it has to go with situation. Okay, if the person with whom you are dealing is good, then your good behavior has an effect. Okay, but if the person with whom you are dealing is not someone who understand the language of goodness, then how far you deal with, it will just harm you. Their obedience don't work. And the age of romanticism is the age of revelation. Okay, there you require a kind of a spirit to revolt, spirit to do protest, isn't, which we'll get in the Songs of Experience section. Directly the child is now revolting, child is now rebellious, is saying that we are no more thinking that job is for our sake, we'll get a good reward. Okay, we'll get in that section everything. And this is how, because every time it doesn't work, some you are like you are supposed to do good work in order to get a reward. It's not just about religion book always teaches, as it has a different special connotation to that Bible, where it says, and the teaching of Christianity, which used to be part of church learning, where it is to be told that people obey certain rules, especially children. And this one is to be like, do your job, do hard works, that far it is possible, and it will reward you. Okay, that's good thing. It's not just about the Bible and all, but the second thing is that you will do everything, and that's correct. But you have to understand the situation and your own capability and the overall thing, isn't? And in that case, you have seen that children are barely given the chance to go outside. They have been taken, their freedom have been taken away. They can't breathe the fresh air. They do not have that security. They at any time fall from the chimney and may lose their life. And they have none to complain. They are facing child abuses. They have been assaulted multiple times, and they are not like even the basic freedom to feel the fresh air they have not. And then at what cost they can be obedient still? Okay, at what cost they can believe that if they do sweep chimneys all the day and do not speak anything when someone is abusing them, beating them by the name that you are walking here, you have to listen it, then will they get reward? Although that's still a question which is being put by Blake, because this is how it does work. Okay, one way it doesn't work. This is like, if you are giving your 100%, you expect it to come out from that opposite side too. If you are behaving well with people, you expect that other people will behave well. That's how work. If you are working under someone in jobs and all, but how corporate world works, that if you do job under somebody and you want your higher ups and other people to understand your problem and do give you the chance to do job equally, and with a full sort of a respect on. And these children were being not suited, even their age was not like the age to do the job and to carry out the risk and so many other things you have to mind here, because that's what Blake is trying to make you avoid. Mm. So then, so it says that by this way, God would be your father, God would be on your side. There you know that this is what, but in any way, if they are a good person, which are in general children are, but then God would be on their side, obviously. Yes, true, and never one joy. There's a question. Okay, so there's we can put a question to this, because this is to be taught to the children all the time while leaving them in that chimney sweeping job, that you do your job. Okay, that's what hard work means. You do, you'll get a reward, you'll get something, you'll not feel pain. But who will look the pain which they were going through while living there? Okay, like they had to clean it regular basis. Some not a very huge number out of 180% even died by falling from the chimney. They are at such a position where their life was always being in jeopardized. So as such situation, what we can think isn't that what joy they can expect for their afterlife, okay, or the upcoming life. The life they are living is their prime time, no, to enjoy. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark, got with our bags and our brushes to walk. Through the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear him. So by this way, that angel left. Tom's dream was broken, mean that his sleep was over. He woke up, he rose. The room was dark, as I told you, it was dark. He again got with his bags and brushes to walk, because it was a part of the dream that he was being freed. He was he left his bags and he was in an open air doing playing and enjoying life. That was a dream. Now he is he rose and he again started walking with bag and brush. And morning was cool. Tom was happy and warm. Happy and warm. Why? Because the angel had assured him that if he do walk, then he'll get the reward. God would be his side. And something that's what the Songs of Innocence says, that this is what we aspire in our life, to have the God on our side, and this is how it's said that it would be on us in our side and he'll never be loss of joy. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. That's how it ended. But like as I told you, that this ending is very different than the one we'll be getting in the Songs of Experience. In the Songs of Experience one, there what happens, that no more the child is so naive and no more is thinking that the world will reward him when it is punishing him every moment. When every moment it is going to danger, there we can take definitely Marxist criticism, where Karl Marx says that here every time is being taught through hard work we can get success. But think of that child's situation who is doing the chimney. He is doing artwork, okay, even more than anybody else can do. But think of what future is waiting for him. Do you think any better future is waiting? This is not. Maximum are dying by falling out. And this is what Blake was questioning through this poem, and definitely canonically is being addressed to the churches that time which was teaching it, which is most prominent in the next part of this poem available in Songs of Experience, where the parents are in church and children are saying they had got to the church, and as we are happy at home, they put us in chimney sweeping jobs. So many things. So here the angel, who is basically described as a ray of hope, a person who showed them the way, which is told them that they will go to connect with the God and they will be rewarded once. This is true, but in the sense you can think that it was trying to push the children to the doing work, and although you can take it as a kind of a assurance that his faith would be protected if he do work. But still the question Blake had put here, which is most important part of this poem. So this poem ends here. We'll come with Songs of Experiences poem of Chimney Sweeper, and we'll soon be finishing that too. But for the timing, that much only. We'll soon be back, and those new to the channel, subscribe it.